This is Roger Stone for American Sovereign Bullion. Since 2020, the U.S. dollar has lost over 20% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to rise. Call 844-272-2428 or go to asbgold.com now to get your free gold and silver guide and learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver delivered to your door or held in a gold IRA today. So go to asbgold.com now. Don't wait for the markets to drop. That's asbgold.com.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noah Layden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noah
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, April 7th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds today, the high 53. Tonight and overnight clear, low 32. That's April. And then Wednesday, sunshine, the high is just going to be 49. If you're walking out the door with us right now, it's 40 and cloudy in Chappaqua up in Westchester, 41 and cloudy in Morristown over in New Jersey, and it's 43 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
Will Iran open the Strait of Hormuz today? 4 astronauts have gone places no human have ever gone before. Why do New Yorkers keep attacking MTA workers? We'll tell you why Mayor Mamdani was walking around with a shovel. A New Jersey man and his pile of bricks have caused a lot of heartache. All right, let's get into it at 5:01. Let's start over at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, where they had some pretty intense moments last night when a jet skid off the runway. This was a Learjet 60. It was landing at the airport. It skidded off the end of the runway. This was about 6:30 last night. The airport right in Hackensack. Aircraft rescue, firefighting responded. Thankfully, no injuries. They didn't give us a whole lot more details before we came to air. But airport operations were temporarily suspended following the incident until the impacted runway was opened. They had to do a small investigation, apparently not that long of one, because about an hour later, that runway was reopened. Of course, as more details come in to us about this jet going off the end of the runway, we'll pass them on to you. Early voting in New Jersey underway for New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill's vacant congressional seat.
The 2 major candidates are Democrat Analilia Mejia and Republican Joe Hathaway. Mejia was national political director for Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign. Hathaway is the former mayor of Randolph. Both portray themselves as the common sense candidate. The special election is Thursday, April 16th. The winner will represent New Jersey's 11th congressional district until January 3rd of next year. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
What is it with New Yorkers attacking MTA employees? We got this 2 more incidents. A New York City bus driver recovering after a violent assault over the weekend. Now, this one's a little more involved. 59-year-old Johnny Rodriguez was driving his normal route in Riverdale up in the Bronx on Saturday night when he crashed into a truck. And apparently the driver of that truck came up to him, punched him, choked him, violently slammed Rodriguez to the ground.
I got a notification that we had a member that was severely hurt, hit around the head, body slammed, in very, very bad shape. There was serious injuries to his head area, which included the brain. And he's still not out of the hospital.
Yeah, that's the head of the Transport Workers Union talking about what happened to Rodriguez. One day earlier, another MTA worker, a 58-year-old train conductor, he was attacked on the job, punched, choked, and cut across the face.
In both cases, they didn't get the perpetrators, but they will. We're going to go around to different depots and different stations and probably bring around the chief of police for the MTA to talk about, what we can do to make it safer, de-escalation.
Yeah, riders waiting to board a bus in Riverdale yesterday say they're not surprised. That's the sad part. They say, we've seen this before. They wish it wouldn't happen.
We need MTA police, honestly, to protect the bus drivers. I know they're big on fare evasion, but protect the commuters and the bus drivers as well.
Not really surprised because it is the Bronx, but we just have to be alert and aware at all times.
Detectives telling us yesterday that the investigation, both cases still ongoing. They have not made any arrest. Murder charges following a deadly Easter shooting in Brooklyn.
NYPD says the gunfire broke out just before 6 p.m. Easter evening outside of a deli on Fulton Street in Cypress Hills. Cops say 2 males, a 30-year-old and a 50-year-old, were both shot multiple times. The younger man, Jose Urena Moran, died at the hospital. The other victim remains in critical condition. A person of interest, 24-year-old Michael Mendoza Cardona, was taken into custody. He has since been arrested and charged with murder and attempted murder. NYPD continuing to investigate how all 3 men are connected. In New York, I'm Liz Warner.
5:05, let's go down to Washington. Of course, a big day for the Strait of Hormuz, Iran in the U.S. President Trump setting these deadlines, making demands, issuing threats over the course of this 5-week joint U.S.-Israeli war against Iran, but seldom have they been this explicit. The new round of strikes against Iran, the president promises, will be devastating if they did not open the Strait of Hormuz, and they will begin at 8 o'clock tonight. That's the deadline. Within 4 hours, the president says, every bridge and power plant in the nation will be decimated. Here was the president talking about this yesterday from the White House.
We're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah.
The president telling reporters that Iran will have no infrastructure unless it doesn't meet the Tuesday deadline to strike a deal with the U.S. The president did appear to pivot from his original demand for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by Tuesday and focus more on an overall deal by the deadline of 8 o'clock tonight.
I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We have a plan where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning.
Those comments came during a White House press conference yesterday about the rescue of those 2 American airmen in Iran. The president calling it historic. He told reporters that after their F-15E fighter jet was downed in Iran, he immediately ordered the U.S. military to do everything possible to bring both those men home.
We're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex, most harrowing combat searches. I guess you would call it a search and rescue mission ever attempted by the military.
Now, the president detailing how the riskier mission took place on Saturday. When the second crew member was retrieved, he said 155 U.S. military aircraft were involved in this daring mission, including B-1 bombers, Reaper drones that attacked encroaching Iranian ground troops.
Generally, when planes are knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group, an evil group, you can't really do this because you send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt. We were helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people, and it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books.
Now, the White House did not detail why that jet went down. And in a moment, we'll tell you how the president wants to go after the person who leaked information on this story as this rescue was taking place. We'll get into that in just a moment. WABC News Time, 5:09. The president says he wants to go after the person who allegedly leaked information about the rescue operations involving 2 downed American airmen. The president telling reporters at the White House yesterday that the information was leaked to the press and endangered the lives of many, including that second airman who was hiding in Iranian territory.
When they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life.
And the White House says they're ready to go to court to get that information if the news outlet does not give up the information.
Iran put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. We're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. 5:10, talking about this war in Iran. Everybody's weighing in whether we need to have ground troops there to end this thing, to finish off Iran. One of the people who thinks we do is Texas Congressman Pat Fallon. He expects that ground troops will be deployed to Iran.
I just don't see any other way.
Fallon, who represents Plano, Texas, serves as the chair of the House Armed Services Subcommittee on Military Personnel. He believes it's important for the U.S. to see the mission in Iran through, and he says part of that is putting troops on the ground.
At least special ops on the ground with allies in the region.
He's a former Air Force officer. He says we can't leave until the job is done. And then back here, we're feeling a lot of the pain of this war, much of it at the pump, and it's intensifying with the nationwide average for a gallon of regular gas now at $4.11. That's according to AAA. That's up from $3.32 a month ago. Correspondent Sam Brock reports that drivers are not the only ones that are feeling it.
The price of jet fuel soaring too as airfares are rising. JetBlue and United Airlines are both hiking bag fees, with JetBlue's peak travel price going from $40 to $49 and United's up $10 a bag for domestic flights.
Nevada has joined a list of states where a gallon of regular gasoline is going for $5 or more today.
In Nashville, store owner Luke Watson says he's preparing to pay more to stock his shelves.
We anticipate it coming. We've started to feel it a little bit.
Some analysts warn the oil shock could slow the economy across the board.
One of those analysts is Caleb Silver. He says consumers will continue to be hit in the wallet in all kinds of different ways.
Consumers should expect higher prices, not just at the pump, but starting to bleed through other parts of the supply chain. And that means at the grocery store, that means for airline tickets, but that also means for interest rates.
And this driver who pulled up to fill up his tank said, wow, okay, yeah, no, it is a lot of money for gas right now.
It's just kind of outrageous how much it's jumped recently.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be going up every other day.
It is. If you don't have to fill up too often, like I don't, thankfully, when I do, I'm always like, oh, okay, I filled up over the weekend. It was a lot of money. 5:12. Did you watch NASA Artemis 2? The crew now record holders for the furthest distance traveled from Earth by humans ever. They broke Apollo 13's record at about 2 o'clock yesterday as they headed towards the moon for a flyby.
Yeah, from the cabin of Integrity here as we surpass the furthest distance humans have ever traveled from planet Earth. We do so in honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors in human space exploration.
Yes, so the 4 astronauts, they took pictures, made scientific observations as they came within 4,000 miles of the surface of the moon at their closest approach. They express hope that their record for the furthest distance traveled by a human doesn't stand for very long.
We will continue our journey even further into space before Mother Earth succeeds in pulling us back to everything that we hold dear. But we, most importantly, choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
Now, there's been all kinds of nice moments during this mission. One of them took place when the Artemis 2 crew yesterday proposed naming a moon crater after the late wife of the commander of this mission, Reed Weissman's wife, Carol.
And so at certain times of the moon's transit around Earth, we will be able to see this from Earth. And so we lost a loved one. Her name was Carol, the spouse of Reed, the mother of Katie and Ellie.
You could hear it was an emotional moment. So, and then you had this moment that we had been told about throughout the entire mission, that there would be a roughly 40-minute communications blackout as they made their way to the dark side of the moon. And so that 40-minute communication lapse began. So this is a part where they wouldn't be able to communicate with the crew. The crew could not communicate with everybody back at Mission Control in Florida.
Integrity, comm check.
So, by the way, this is with them checking in after that 40-minute blackout.
Integrity, comm check.
Integrity, we have you loud and clear. Tell me.
Houston, we have you the same, and it is so great to hear from Earth again.
Yeah, I'm sure they were a little nervous.
Asia, Africa, and Oceania, we are looking back at you. We hear you can look up and see the moon right now. We see you too.
Okay, so once they did that, they started to make their way back to Earth. And here was some of the commanders. This is Reed Wiseman describing how he and a crewmate saw impact flashes on the moon and how cool that was.
Jeremy has seen them kind of on and south of the equator, kind of spread across the moon, and mine were both south of the equator and just a little bit left of center of the moon.
Yeah, Jeremy Hansen describing the solar eclipse of the moon that he saw.
I thought it would look, dark against the black sky or deep space, but the sun is lighting up the entire limb of the moon. You can see the entire perimeter of it.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen the pictures, definitely check them out. They're pretty fantastic. The mission, it ends on Friday with a splashdown off the Southern California coast. All right, 5:16. Let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Ella.
Thank you, Noam Layden. Start on the collegiate hardwood out in Indianapolis, where we crowned a national championship, and it was the Michigan Wolverines, 69-63 over the UConn Huskies. Wolverines winning the program's first national championship since 1989, and became the first team to beat UConn in the Sweet 16 or later since Michigan State beat the Huskies in the 2009 Final Four. So congrats goes out to the Wolverines.
Did you stay up to watch this game?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, but I got a lot of friends growing up in the tri-state area that went to Michigan. It's a very popular college or university for kids growing up in the suburbs of New York. So, I had a lot of friends celebrating big time last night.
Did they dominate this thing the whole game? Because I didn't see any of it either.
No, 69-63. It's a low-scoring game. UConn's got that great defense. We had Bruce Pearl on the program yesterday, and he was saying how they're going to hold Michigan to below 80 points, and he was right. So, it was a low-scoring game. Michigan ekes it out, but the Huskies covering the 7.5 spread. So, there you go. You took the Huskies plus 7.5. Won some bucks. Head to the professional.
My guess is the betting derelict that you are. You took the 7 points?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch the game.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to gamble on a game I'm not going to watch.
I don't know.
What's the fun in that? I mean, the fun in that would have been waking up to some fresh money.
That would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been a lot of fun. Yeah. Out in Atlanta, the Knicks held off the Hawks 108-105. Up next for them, they're still sitting in third place in that Eastern Conference with 3 games left. They'll host the Boston Celtics come Thursday night. The Nets are back at it tonight, 7:30 p.m. start out in Brooklyn. They'll welcome in the Milwaukee Bucks. On the ice tonight, the Devils, they'll welcome in the Philadelphia Flyers. That's 7 p.m. start there. And 2 brand new baseball series getting underway this afternoon and tonight for our local squads. The Mets will welcome in the Diamondbacks for the first of 3. Freddie Peralta will start there. And later on tonight at 7:05 p.m., the Yankees will get going in the Bronx against the visiting Athletics. Cam Schlutler will start there. And some offseason Giants news in the NFL world. New York Giants defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade. He will not be participating in the team's offseason workout program that begins today. League sources revealed yesterday Lawrence and the Giants have been through 2 offseasons attempting to negotiate a contract reflecting his value to the team over the past 3 years, but there has not been any progress. Lawrence has 2 years remaining on his deal and is scheduled to make $20 million this upcoming season. We'll keep a close eye on that. That is your Sports Know, man. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time, 5:20. The newly confirmed Department of Homeland Security Secretary suggesting big sanctuary cities may lose customs enforcement at their airports.
We're asking them to partner with us at the airport, but once they walk out of the airport, they're not going to enforce immigration policy.
That's the newly minted DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen says he's going to take a hard look now at the cities that want to work with DHS across the board. Meanwhile, Mullen says Democrats are taking part in what he calls political theater as his agency remains unfunded today.
I'm saying we're going to have to start prioritizing things at some point. Right now, remember, the Democrats are wanting to defund Customs and Border Patrol. Well, who processes those individuals when they walk off the plane?
And Mullen says he'll reevaluate how DHS works with sanctuary cities.
So I'm going to have to be forced to make hard decisions. Who's willing to work with us and partner with us?
Now, Mullen does say the current bipartisan bill that was passed by the Senate funding DHS minus ICE and Customs and Border Patrol is okay with him because he says Republicans will pass ICE and CBP funding through the reconciliation process, which does not require acquire Democratic support. 522, the schedule for Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick's testimony before the House probe in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation has been set now.
Reports are saying Lutnick will testify before the House Oversight Committee on May 6th. The committee's chair, Republican Congressman James Comer, announcing in March that Lutnick had agreed to take questions. Lutnick's relationship with Epstein has been under scrutiny since files released by the Justice Department show that he had more contact with a convicted sex offender than was previously known. Lutnick has insisted he did not engage in any wrongdoing. I'm Jim Roop.
Let's go out to California. Just an odd moment at an Easter egg hunt over the weekend. Police investigating possible human remains that might have been found during an Easter egg hunt in Long Beach. This woman, well, she lives right where a skull was found.
I was beside myself because we come here all the time. I just live down the street, and I take my grandson around here, but it's just heartbreaking, and I hope they figure out who it is.
I can't even imagine the kid that's looking for candy comes upon a skull partially buried in dirt at DeForest Park.
There's been more dangerous, crazy things around here, so I'm not really surprised that there's a body right there. It's a bit more safer when I was a kid. Now it's no more things are happening. It's just crazy.
Yeah, so far police have not commented on reports that the skull might belong to an infant. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office now analyzing that evidence, and they say when they have more information, they'll release it to the public. CNN apparently thinks the California governor's race is worthy of national attention.
CNN is hosting a debate with California's gubernatorial candidates. It's a rare move for the news channel to air a state debate, but CNN says the race is relevant to the country since about 1 in every 8 Americans lives in California, and the state's jungle primary system allows for debate on a lot of issues that will resonate across the U.S. in a pivotal election year. The 2 Republicans leading the race, Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, should make the cut, along with possibly 6 Democrats. It'll air live on May 5th from Los Angeles. I'm Jason Nathanson.
UPS says they finally have an agreement with the Teamsters Union to cap severance offers.
The agreement allows UPS to offer 7,500 truck drivers $150,000 for early retirement. The dispute stems from an announcement by the company in January that it planned to cut 30,000 jobs and shutter 24 facilities by the end of the year. I'm at Mattinson.
Let's head down to Texas State Board of Education in the process of rewriting what is taught in social studies classes across the Lone Star State. There's a public hearing this week on a draft plan that includes references to religion in textbooks.
Western civilization, that whole worldview comes out of Christianity.
That's Cindy Castilla. She's part of the Texas Eagle Forum. She wants the Bible to be a bigger part of instruction that kids get when they're in social studies class.
It's really important for children in America to learn about our founding and why we're the greatest place on earth. It's seriously important that they get a good founding of that while they're growing up, while they're learning to think.
Now, the people on the other side don't really like that much. A final vote expected later this year. 525 down over to Florida. Lifeguards had to pull more than 100 swimmers from the clutches of dangerous rip currents along South Florida beaches over the long Easter weekend. The head of Fort Lauderdale's rescue team says it was just a wild scene, pulling one person after another out of the ocean.
In a rip current, the waves aren't really breaking, so people assume there are no waves, that's where they want to go swim. But in fact, that is usually the dangerous spot.
And this was the issue is, usually when you go out into the ocean, you go out with others. So they found that all the people were caught in the rip current and they had to save everybody.
Past 3 days, we had 67 rescues with 109 victims. Sometimes there would be 3 people in a rip current. Sometimes you can have up to even 5 people.
Now, the amazing part is they were able to rescue all those people. While we're down in Florida, Tropicana Field reopened for the first time yesterday since Hurricane Milton tore off its roof back in 2024. Repairs to the Dome Stadium cost about $60 million. The Rays CEO, Ken Babby, says there have also been some improvements now to the fan experience. They've always had a hard time attracting fans to that baseball stadium.
Renovated clubs, home plate lounges, and I think some of the most affordable seats that fans have seen.
Apparently new audio video systems and the roof lets in more natural light.
The ballpark will look better than it ever has with a brand new roof, new video boards, new sound system, obviously brand new field.
Yeah, and they're so desperate for fans of the Rays. The tickets for the entire month of April will come with $10 in concessions or merchandise attached to each ticket that you buy. If you think your allergies are getting worse this spring, you are far from being alone.
Allergy seasons are getting longer and more intense because of climate and environmental changes. So says Dr. David Gudis, who heads the rhinology division at New York's Presbyterian Medical Center. He also says they can develop later in life because of a new location or simply because of changes in someone's immune system. He recommends such over-the-counter medications as nasal steroid sprays, antihistamine sprays, oral antihistamines. He also advises patients to spend more time indoors with air conditioning when the pollen count is high and keeping the windows shut. I'm Jim Root.
WABC News Time, 5:29. And what's being called or hailed as a medical first, scientists have regrown damaged knee cartilage, which is good news for 32 million Americans suffering from painful knee issues.
Biomedical engineers at Duke University and the University of Colorado Boulder are using injections and infusions to regrow knee cartilage, while researchers at Northwestern say they've created a rubbery goo to do the job. Meantime, researchers at Columbia University say they're using 3D printed scaffolding containing bone and cartilage cells to regrow an entire knee. So far, all the experiments have been on animals, but human trials are expected to begin within 18 months. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, April 7th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds today, kind of like it was yesterday, which was actually beautiful. I mean, it could have been a little warmer. Today, the high will be 53. Tonight and overnight, clear, low 32. And then Wednesday, sunshine. It'll be the coolest day of the week, high 49. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 40 cloudy in Chappaqua up in Westchester, 41 and cloudy in Morristown over in New Jersey, and it's 43 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time, 5:42. Let's go up to the Bronx. Really frightening moment. A 5-year-old boy falls out of a third-floor window of an apartment building yesterday morning. This was 167th Street in Washington Avenue, about 11 a.m. Here's a witness who says she heard a thud right about when this all took place.
Something just dropped, bump, and I hear people was talking, and then I roll my window up and see a little kid naked and on the floor.
Yeah, so neighbors ran to the fire station, which is right on the corner, for help. Police say a parent home at the time of this incident. The boy's mother had no idea what had happened until someone had banged on her door.
I'm getting a banging on my door saying that my son fell out the window. I was in shock. I told this landlord a dozen times to fix the windows. That's all I ever asked for, to fix the windows. He knows that my son is severely autistic.
Yeah, so the son has tried to go out this window before. She says her son's going to be okay, but he's got a lot of injuries.
He has a fractured rib, 2 teeth in the back broke. He has a chipped tooth and a laceration across his chin. And that was when he hit the ladder.
Yeah, you can imagine falling from the 3rd floor. It's a good thing he's even just alive. Mayor Mamdani will mark his 100th day in office on Sunday. But yesterday, he was dealing with another big number that he wanted to get attention for. 100,000 potholes, he says, have been filled since he took office. Department of Transportation trying to fill all these holes after what was just a punishing winter of storms and lots of potholes everywhere you go. Some drivers on Staten Island say they've been dodging a fair amount of potholes there.
Basically drive around the potholes. There's many roads that I know by heart that I just know where the potholes are, and I basically have to kind of put my car right over it in the middle.
So Mayor Mamdani took a shovel, went out with the Department of Transportation yesterday to help fill some of those potholes on Staten Island.
This is pothole politics, right? We know that New Yorkers are measuring the impact of city government in these ways, and they're saying that if you want me to believe in the promise of universal childcare, you have to show that you can deal with the smallest kind of issues that have often been overlooked.
And the mayor admits there are still thousands of potholes to fill. He says they're going to tackle them in the next week or so at a local auto mechanic shop on Staten Island. He's been busy. It's his cash register singing with all these potholes.
Everybody's angry. Like, you have people, they get in a month like 3 flats or 4 flats. They're like, this is crazy, And another thing is a lot of blowouts too. Not only flats, You hit a pothole, you blew the tire, blew the rim, put $500-600 for repairs.
Yeah, and that's good for the repair shop. Not so good, of course, for New Yorkers. In a moment, we'll head out to Long Island, where rescuers helped a kid who got trapped in mud. We'll get into that story in just a moment. But first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And here's Justin Eller.
Thank you, Noah Maladen. Start here on the college hardwood out in Indianapolis. Your national championship game saw Michigan prevail over UConn 69-63. The Wolverines capturing the program's first national championship since 1989 and becoming the first team to beat UConn in the Sweet 16 or later since Michigan State beat the Huskies in the 2009 Final Four. So congratulations going out to the Wolverines and all of you Michiganites out there. Great alma mater. Out in Atlanta, the Knicks held off the Hawks 108-105. Jalen Brunson made 2 free throws with 1.2 seconds left to give New York a 3-point lead. He led New York with 30 points and 13 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns had 21, 12, and 6. Up next for the Knicks, sitting in third place in the Eastern Conference with 3 games left. They'll host the Boston Celtics come a Thursday night. The Nets, they're back at it tonight out in Brooklyn at 7:30. They'll welcome in the Milwaukee Bucks. On the ice, the Devils, they'll be back out there in New Jersey at 7 p.m., welcoming in the Philadelphia Flyers. And a couple of new series getting underway for both the Mets and the Yankees this afternoon and tonight. At 4:10 p.m. this afternoon, the Mets will get going out in Queens against the visiting Diamondbacks. Freddie Peralta to start there. And tonight at 7:05 p.m., the Yankees at home in the Bronx welcoming in the Athletics. Cam Schlittler will get the start in that one. And NFL news, Giants news to be specific. New York Giants defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade. He will not be participating in the team's offseason workout program that begins today. Lawrence and the Giants have been through 2 offseasons attempting to negotiate a contract reflecting his value to the team over the past 3 years.
What is his value to the team? Do we know?
Not much at this point, to be honest with you.
Clearly, they don't want to keep him, I guess.
Yeah, well, he had a higher ceiling than he's displayed so far in his career. And I think, they've got a bit of a dispute going on around that negotiating table. He probably feels like he's worth more, and the Giants are saying, well, show us. And he hasn't yet. And, that's the business, man.
Yep.
You draft these guys thinking they're going to be turned into superstars, and they don't. A few years later, you have to make a hard decision. And it seems like they're at that turning point. So we'll see what comes of it. But he won't be partaking in any team activities for the foreseeable future. He's scheduled to make $20 million this upcoming season. That is your Sports Gnome, and I'm just
imagine. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if he's worth more, he should ask for more. But just $20 million.
He's not worth $20 million. No. So he's not going to be on the Giants. And there you go. All right. And well, as long as they try and find a trade suitor, but you still got the draft coming up and everything. You got a lot of ways to make a move around Dexter Lawrence. So we'll see what they do with him. That's your sports. I'm Justin Alex, 77 WABC.
WABC News Time, 5:50. The son of one of the victims of the Gilgo Beach killings filed a wrongful death lawsuit against alleged killer Rex Uerman and his family yesterday. Court documents show that Benjamin Torres, the son of victim Valerie Mack, filed the lawsuit. Mack is one of 7 women investigators say was killed by Uerman. Uerman is expected to plead guilty by this way in this case as early as next week. We have not heard back from Uerman's attorneys or his ex-wife, which is part of this lawsuit, on their reaction to being sued by one of the victim's children. 5:51, while we're out on Long Island, Suffolk County Police We're getting the details of how they rescued a 15-year-old Shirley boy who became trapped in muddy water inside Wortham National Refuge on Sunday night. So he called police. This was about 7:30 at night, the 15-year-old, and he told them he was stuck in the mud near an offshoot of the Carmen's River. Now, this is a pretty big park. It's not a small place. He said, okay, I'm going to take my cell phone. I'm going to shine the flashlight to signal a helicopter, anybody that might be in the area. So they flew a helicopter above. Sure enough, they saw the flashlight. They sent in a crew of patrol officers, emergency service unit workers to find this kid, this 15-year-old. And sure enough, there he was, stuck in the mud. It was like quicksand. I mean, it wasn't quicksand, but he wasn't able to get out. They came in and they pulled him out of the mud, and he's okay. Here are some of the people who were watching on.
I think it's phenomenal that they found him. The fact that they were able to get him out of the mud like that, it's pretty heavy over there.
Yeah.
It's great to see the police department really using their technology to help others.
Yeah, so that teenager, why he was there, what he was doing there, we don't know, but he was escorted out of the preserve, transported by ambulance to Stony Brook University Hospital, and we're told he is okay. Over to New Jersey at 5:52, early voting underway for the special general election to replace Governor Mikey Sherrill's congressional seat there. Early in-person voting will run through next Tuesday. Poll workers say voters really came out in big numbers on the first day of early voting yesterday, and they were kind of surprised by that.
It has been like a steady flow, a little, slow here and there, but people are coming out, which is great.
Yeah, usually first day turnout is a little lower compared to the rest of the days because, people need some time to hear about this. But I am glad to see how many people have been coming out. The
two major candidates are Democrat Ania Mejia and Republican Joe Hathaway. This is usually a safe Democratic area. Mejia was national political director for Senator Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign. Hathaway is the former mayor of Randolph. Here's some voters.
I wanted to make sure I got my vote in. I will be out of the country on Election Day, so came early.
I think early voting's good because it takes all the uncertainty out of the process. If you wait till the last minute, you're never sure what might happen.
Yeah, so the special election is Thursday, April 16th.
I'm involved in this, just so you know.
Well, it's not when you're going to win.
Forget about 101.5 in New Jersey, Spady or the rest of those folks. God bless them. They don't care. All these candidates want to be on this show. I may not win either one of them. You're right. I'm endorsing Alex Zidane to beat Cory Booker. That seems like a huge uphill battle. And I am, in fact, endorsing enthusiastically Joe Hathaway in the race to replace Mikey Sherrill.
Yeah,
Mikey Muhammad Sherrill.
It's nice of you to support him, but he's not going to win.
How do you know that?
Because this is not the Republicans have spent no money on this race because they know they're not flipping this seat.
But he's a moderate. He's not a MAGA guy.
You couldn't win if you were moderate, even come close to.
So who's going to win then?
This woman who's like very left progressive.
What is her name?
Her name is.
Oh, I heard she's no. I heard she's worse than just left progressive. I heard she's basically a Palestinian, like Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, she's more like Zohran Mamdani.
Anti-Israel is what I heard.
Very possibly. I don't know.
Because Hathaway is very pro-Israel and she's very anti-Israel.
No.
Though if I spread that word across New Jersey, maybe Hathaway's got a shot.
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
No,
just being honest.
Yeah.
Why did he do it?
I'd rather you lie to me.
Usually I lie to you, but I'm not going to lie to you. Why did he do it? We can't figure this out. So here we have this video in New Jersey, in Union County, of a guy pulling up in a car, and he seems to have all these bricks in his car. This is overnight, Sunday into Monday morning. He hit a number of towns in Union County, Linden being one of them. So what he would do is he was taking bricks out of his car, and apparently had a pile like on his passenger seat, and then throwing them at car windshields. And in all, at least 19 cars have like major damage, like thousands of dollars. And there's video of this guy, but it's nights. They can't really totally make out who he is. And of course, the question is, why is he doing it? It seems very random.
I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, but this is something that's never happened before. Fella drove in, threw blocks through windows. Why? What motivates people to do something like that? Just random destruction.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It just seems odd, especially that he's doing it from a car, so it doesn't look like it's a kid. Dozens of people now left to deal with the destruction and, pay some pretty hefty bills to get their windshields fixed.
She is just in shock, just because someone felt like throwing bricks.
Yeah. So it wasn't just us, it was everybody.
The motivation is for this, right? Why do you just smash a window and then drive on? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so the vandalism spree did not stop in Linden. Police say it happened in other towns throughout Union County, including in Cranford, where seemingly the same person threw bricks, like he had collected them somewhere and damaged all kinds of cars all along the street.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.